Hi children. In today's video we are going to start second chapter of political science, federalism. What is federalism? This is somewhat new but familiar term, right? In power sharing chapter we have discussed about vertical division of power. In that I mentioned the government which is meant for entire country. It is called as federal government. About that government only we are going to discuss in this chapter. But before going into the chapter's concept, you want to be clear with four terms meanings because we are going to frequently use these terms in the chapter. One is constitution. I think many of you will be aware about our constitution, right? India is having lengthiest written constitution. When we got independence, our leaders made some rules and regulations for the country. Based on the rules and regulations only, the leaders will govern our country. Okay, and if you become leader of the country, you cannot go and delete that laws. Law made is made. It cannot be deleted. All you can do is you can make changes to the existing law, and that change is called as amendment. This term also we used in power sharing, right? So constitution is the rules and regulations for the country. Number two, national common interest. So entire people of India, they will have some common interest, right? So we all are using railways, currency, education, defense, everything. So we are not having differences. So this is said to be national common interest for entire people of India. Next, revenue. It is the tax paid to the government. Next one, jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means legal authority in a particular area. That is called as jurisdiction. For example, you take Erode district collector. He is having power in Erode district. So Erode is said to be his jurisdiction. Okay, so in a particular area, if you have power, that is called as jurisdiction. Are you clear with the four terms? Okay. Now, let us see a key change happened in Belgium to understand about federalism. So, in Belgium in 1993, a key change was made. What key change means? The powers were given to state government and the central government and state government became independent from each other. So now your question will be, before 1993, was there no state government in Belgium? Yes, your question is correct. Before 1993, state government and central government was there in Belgium, but central government was very powerful. They can take off the powers from regional government anytime and they can make regional government powerless. Now you just take your classroom, you are having class teacher, you are having class prefect. So it is very obvious who is the most powerful person here, class teacher or class prefect? Definitely class teacher. Anytime your class teacher can remove the class prefect and all the powers will be lying only with your class teacher. Right, the same situation was happening in Belgium before 1993. The central government is very powerful. Anytime they can take off all the powers from regional government. This proves regional government was not independent. It was subordinate to the central government. In 1993, there was a change. Constitutional powers were given to the state government independently. That means hereafter, state government is not answerable to the central government. Finally, Belgium got transferred from unitary to federal form of government. So now you can closely relate the meaning with the terms, right? Unitary government before 1993. Federal government after 1993. So unitary means only one government having power. Federal government means two or more levels sharing power. Are you clear with the terms unitary and federal? Okay, now what we have discussed is the key change happened in Belgium. If the question is in 1 mark, what is the key change happened in Belgium? You need to write only one statement. Belgium got transferred from unitary to federal government by giving independent powers to state government. If the question is asked in 3 mark, you need to write the entire story. Before 1993, Belgium had central and state government, but central government was very powerful and state government also had their powers and rules, but anytime these powers can be taken off by the central government. But after 1993, the condition changed. State government became independent and thus it got changed from unitary to federal form of government. Okay, now going to the meaning of federalism. What is federalism? So now you're clear with the concept, right? Sharing power. Central and other levels of government should share their power. This is called as federalism. So the definition is federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between central authority and various constituent units of the country. Here, central authority and the constituent units are having meaning. Central authority is referring to the central government. Various constituent units are referring to the levels of government like state government and local government. So let us check in detail. The state government and national government are sharing powers, right? So one government is for the entire country, and that government will be taking care of the national common interest. We already discussed about the meaning of it, right? So the central government taking care of railway, electricity, defense. So that is one government. Next one is regional or provincial level. So state government and local government, which will be taking care of the day-to-day administration of the people. So federalism is nothing but sharing or dividing power between the government for entire country and state or provincial government. So this is called as federalism. Now you can tell the difference between unitary and federal form of government. So unitary government means how many governments will be there? There will be one or more levels of government, but only one government will be very powerful. Federal government, how many governments will be there? Two or more levels of government, and all the levels of government will be having independent powers. They are not answerable to each other. And in unitary government, the state government must answer to the central government. Federal government, they don't want to answer to the central government. They are having independent powers. And in unitary government, in the constitution, if they want to make any amendment, they can take by themselves. They don't want to discuss with the state governments or other levels of governments. But in federal government, if any change is to be made in the constitution, all the existing levels of government should give consent. Central government, state government, local government, all the government should give majority votes. Only then the change can be made. So this is the condition of federal government. And in unitary government, the courts are not having much power. Central government are very powerful. But in federal government, the courts are having much power to make any changes to the new made laws. If you become the country's leader and if you make any law which is against the constitution principle, the court can remove that law. So this is the condition prevailing in federal form of government. Are you clear with the difference between unitary and federal government? Unitary, one government, only they will make all the decisions and nobody else is having power. Federal government, two or more levels of government, every level of government will be having independent power, and courts here are very powerful. Now coming to the features of federalism, a very important 5-mark question. Features of federalism is nothing but what and all we discussed so far. We are going to compile it together. 1. Federalism means definitely it will be having two or more levels of government, and each level of the government are having its own jurisdiction. Each level of the government are having its own power. Central government means this is the power. State government means this is the power, like that. They are having their own jurisdiction, like administration, legislation, everything. They will be having independent powers. And these jurisdictions of each level of the government are written in the constitution. The constitution is clearly mentioning this is the power of this government, like that. They are mentioning it clearly, and hence the existence and authority of the government is said to be constitutionally guaranteed. If you go and question the state government, with whose permission you are making this law passed, or with whose permission you are existing, it is based on the constitutional permission. The constitution made India as a federal country, so only they are existing. Clear with that? Jurisdiction of each level of the government are mentioned in the constitution. So its existence and authority is said to be constitutionally guaranteed. So this is the third feature of federalism. Next, if any change is to be made in the fundamental provisions, fundamental provision is basic change, there will be some basic rules for the country, right? If any change is to be made in that, it cannot be unilaterally changed. We already discussed this. The central government alone cannot make that change. They should discuss it with the other levels of government. So it need consent from all the levels of the government. Only then they can make change in the fundamental provisions. And next feature, courts. Already we discussed, no, in federalism courts are having more power, right? So in federalism the courts are having power to interpret the problems between the government. If there is any problem between central and state government, highest court will be acting as an umpire. So which is the highest court for India? Supreme Court, right? So they will be solving the problem between central and state government or state and local government. So courts are having power in federalism. Next one, sources of revenue. So what will be the source of money to each level of government? Central government are taking many actions. Railway they are constructing. So national highways they are taking care of, right? So for that, from where they are getting money? Definitely it is from tax. So what is the source of tax? Which amount they should use? So that will be mentioned by the constitution. Sources of revenue are clearly specified for each level of government to give financial autonomy, to give financial power. And last, these principles are existing because federalism is having two objectives. One is they want to protect the unity of the country. So all the people should be accommodated. So many people are having differences. So language differences, regional differences, cultural differences like that. But the government wants to unite everybody and it wants to protect the unity of the country. So these are the objectives of federalism. And if these two need to be fulfilled, two things are very crucial, very important. So if these two things are existing only, the two objectives can be fulfilled. So what are the two means? The different levels of government, first, they should agree to divide powers. Okay, let us divide the powers. I will be taking care of this, you take care of that. So they should agree for that. And next thing, after dividing the power, they should trust each other. Okay, we have given the powers to them, they will take care of it like that. They should trust each other. So these two things are important to make the two objectives fulfilled. And finally, this is said to be two aspect. Two things which is important, we are calling it as two aspect. One is mutual trust, they should trust each other. Another one, agreement to live together. So we discussed, right, they want to divide the powers, they should agree for it, no, that is agreement to live together. So know the differences here, it is meant for one mark question. Three questions are here. What are the dual objectives, what are the two crucial things important to achieve it, and what are the dual aspects. Dual objectives, main principle of federalism, they want to unite people, and two, they want to accommodate the diversity, that is they want to unite all the people irrespective of diversity. And two things are crucial to fulfill this. One is government should agree to divide powers, and two, they should trust each other. And these are said to be two aspects, generally called as mutual trust and agreement to live together. The main thing here is objectives of federalism. So you can look here, which is very clear and colorful, right? To safeguard and promote the unity of the country and to accommodate the regional diversity. These are the 7 principles or features of federalism. Can you recall all the 7 features? 1, there will be 2 or more levels of government, and 2, these governments are having its own jurisdiction. Number 3, these jurisdictions are written in the constitution. Number 4, and they are having courts to solve the problems between the governments. Number 5, financial autonomy. The sources of revenue are clearly mentioned for each government. And next one, about aspects and objectives we have discussed. And I left one thing. Can you say what is that? Just find that and comment in the comment box. Okay, now to achieve the federalism, what can be done? So it can be achieved in any of the 2 ways. There are 2 ways to achieve federalism. Federalism means what? Sharing power. So how to share powers means there are 2 routes. One is coming together federation and 2 is holding together federation. So the meanings will be very clear by the term itself. So first is coming together. Here independent states, they will come together by themselves, by their own interest. They will come together, they will join all their powers and their sovereignty, so that their security will be improved. This is called as coming together federation. So independent states, they will join together and they will join their sovereignty and improve their security. This is called as coming together federation. Example, USA, Switzerland and Australia. All touring spots are mentioned here. You can easily remember this, right? So you take USA, United States of America. So all the states in America, they are having independent powers. All the states, they are coming together by themselves and they are sharing their power and security. That is why this is said to be coming together federation. As all the states came together, it is called as United States of America. And each state of America, they are having equal power. So in constitutional, all the states, they will be having power which is very equal. So coming together federation got over. You want to remember three things. Now coming to holding together federation, which is somewhat different from that. Here the country will decide how to divide the power. So the country will be dividing the power itself and it will give to various constituent units. And here the examples are India, Spain and Belgium. You take India because we know that well. In India, central government will decide what powers to be given to state government and local government. So here who is very powerful? Definitely central government, right? And also the states in India, all the states are not equal. Many states, they are very powerful and some places which are very small, they are called as union territories and they are not powerful. For example, you take Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and all, they are called as states. But some other places like Pondicherry, Goa and all, they are very small and they are not having much population also, but some places they are having special powers and some are not. So this is what happening in India. The constituent states are not having equal power. So we discussed about two routes to achieve federalism. One is coming together federation, another one is holding together federation. Coming together means the states themselves are coming together to share their power. Holding together means the country will decide about the division of powers. Coming together, all the states are having equal power. And holding together, not all the states are having equal power. So about that statement we will be discussing in the upcoming topics. So first, in today's topic we discussed about key change happened in Belgium, where Belgium got transferred from unitary to federal form of government. Then we discussed about definition of federalism, where the power is divided between central authority and the constituent units. And we compared unitary and federal form of government. And then we discussed about features of federalism. 7 features are there. And then we discussed about routes to achieve federalism, coming together and holding together. So just recap the video to be more thorough with the concepts. Meet you in the next topic soon. Bye bye.